cast by his own fear. So to each of you I ask, now that your classroom work, your academic work is finished here, what work remains for you to do before you can commence? How far back might you need to go in order to move forward? In what ways are you limiting your own potential, our collective potential? Our degrees mean nothing if we cannot and do not do the work to make this world a place where we can all come out of the shadows and be ourselves. So what will you do? Will you return to the safety of what you already knew? Or will we see you driving or walking in reverse, embracing the risk that comes with it? The risk you must take before you can become extraordinary. The risk that comes before you can do anything extraordinary. The risk that leads to our becoming extraordinary together. With hope and humility, I know where I'm headed. Won't you join me? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fells, for your insightful words. Now I'd like to welcome our keynote speaker, the Honorable Jack Wagner. Mr. Wagner was sworn into office in January 2009 for his second term as Pennsylvania's Auditor General. He brought 25 years of public service to his role as the Commonwealth's independent fiscal watchdog. He previously had represented Allegheny County as a state senator since May 1994. Prior to that, he was a member of the Pittsburgh City Council for 10 years, representing all city neighborhoods. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jack Wagner, a proud alumnus of IUP.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. David Werner, for that introduction. I'd also like to thank several others who invited me here today for this magnificent occasion. Provost and Vice President Dr. Jerry Enneman, the Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Tim Mack, the Board of Governors, Jonathan Mack, who is here, two excellent trustees of IUP for a long time, Susan Delaney and Geely Walwork, and the administrators, the faculty who are here that stood earlier, the family and the friends of the Indiana University class of 2010 graduate commencement ceremony. As an IUP alumnus, I'm honored and proud to be here today on such a grand occasion. Looking around the room, looking at the graduates, I realize I've never been in the company of so many smart people. I've been told that IUP today will be conferring 321 master's degrees, 30 doctorals, and 14 certificates of recognition. Congratulations to all of you. And let me ask all of you to please stand for one moment and let's all congratulate those who are congratulated. All of you will remember this moment as one of the greatest accomplishments in your life. The product of years of hard work, marked by endless hours of studying, reading, writing, research, and a lot of anxiety. Today, you have a deeper appreciation of the Greek philosopher Aristotle's famous remarks that the roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. And yes, the fruit is sweet today. Or as we said in the 1960s and the 1970s, The tassel is worth the hassle. And all of you realize that better than anyone. I know it's tempting for you to look at today as the culmination of your educational years. A time to finally put the books and the library behind you and go out into the world to seek your fame and your fortune. It's understandable that many of you may want to feel that way, but it's also unrealistic. Today isn't the end of your journey, it's the beginning of your journey. And Abraham Lincoln once said, and Abraham Lincoln made some of the greatest quotes of all time. And I read this about 6 months prior to graduating from IUP, and it has always stuck with me. Education is not fulfillment. Utilization of knowledge is. And let me just repeat that. Because if you remember anything today, that quote is really worth remembering. Education is not fulfillment. Utilization of knowledge is. In our lightning-fast economy, almost everything changes overnight. Today's profit center is tomorrow's basket case. If you don't believe me, look at what happened to the U.S. housing market in the fall of 2008. Anyone involved in the real estate business here knows that quite well. Because everything changes so rapidly, it's impossible for anyone to guess what the hot jobs or industries will be a year from now, let alone a decade or 2 decades from now. As Henry Ford said nearly a century ago, you can't learn in school what the world is going to teach you next year. To survive in our economy, you must do 2 things. You must be adaptable and you must follow your heart. By adaptable, I mean that you must keep learning, keep evolving, stay nimble, and greet change as your new best friend. Here's an example of someone who is adaptable. Most of you know who Chad Hurley is. If you don't, you should. He is the creator of YouTube. He also is an IUP alumnus. Chad began his studies at IUP in computer science. Then he switched majors, graduating from IUP with a BA in fine arts. After graduation, he took a job at PayPal, the web-based pay service, which helped design PayPal's first logo. It was at PayPal that he met 2 engineers with whom he shared business ideas. When eBay bought PayPal for $1.54 billion, Chad and his friends didn't disappear. They put their heads together and used their bonus money to create YouTube, the famous website that features highlights from TV programs as well as homemade videos. In October 2006, Chad and his friends sold YouTube to Google for $1.65 billion. As you can see, Chad never stopped learning and adapting after he graduated from IUP. He also did something else. He followed his heart. He didn't chase after someone else's dream or pursue a list of hot jobs from Monster.com. He struck it rich by figuring out a way to make money from his 2 favorite passions, computers and the art. By following your heart, I mean that you should pursue a job or career that interests you, that engages you, rather than choose something because a newspaper article or a counselor recommended it. There is no worse feeling, and many of us know this, there is no worse feeling in the world than having to drag yourself out of bed in the morning to go to a job you hate just because you need a paycheck. Many of us have done that. Or on the other hand, there is no greater feeling in the world than doing something every day that you absolutely love. The beauty of the American economy is that if you have a passion for something, become an expert at it, there is a good chance you can make a living doing that. whatever it may be. Another great example is Mel Kiper Jr. The sports fans in here know who Mel Kiper is. He melded his love with statistics with his interest in pro football to become a premier NFL draft analyst on ESPN. He developed an interest in the NFL draft while still in high school and was taking classes at Essex Community College in Baltimore when he first tried selling statistics about college football players to professional football teams. Today, he is a millionaire, appears on ESPN, and is considered the #1 draft analyst in the world. The last quick example I'll give you is myself. Very humbly, I went to IUP at the late age of 23 after I served in the Marine Corps. I graduated in 1974 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Safety Management, became a safety engineer, worked in the profession for 8 years, decided to get involved in government. Why? Because I wasn't happy with it. I wanted to change it. I wanted to improve it. And yes, that was 25 years ago, but I was adaptable, and I'm doing something today that I love to do, which is to serve the people of Pennsylvania. Your journey begins in a few minutes when you collect your diploma. Walk out the door and step into the real world. It's a world filled with challenges, yes, but it also is a world filled with opportunity. As all of you know, the United States is mired in the greatest economic crisis since the Great Depression. Unemployment is at its highest level in more than a generation. What you have going for you, all of you, truly is an education, a magnificent education. Unemployment rate is about 10% in the country, but for those with a bachelor's degree or higher, like a master's degree, or higher, the unemployment rate is 1/2 that. It's 5%. For all of you, the opportunities are boundless. American businesses are sitting on $2 trillion in cash reserves, just waiting for an idea or a product that inspires them. Maybe you can inspire them. As you leave here today, I hope you remember the words of the great American poet, Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Today is a great day. As I said to several of the people I'm with here on the stage, on my desk, I have a picture of myself with my 2 parents, who were both deceased on the day I graduated from IUP. I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for the magnificent education from this university. All of you have a great opportunity, but we want you to know that IUP, beginning with President Werner, and the trustees, and the faculty, and the staff, are very proud of you. And most importantly, your family is very proud of you. This is a magnificent achievement that you have made. Your spouses are proud of you, your parents, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, your siblings, your cousins are extremely proud of you of this magnificent achievement. Go out in the world and make it better. Thank you.
Wow, wasn't that fabulous? And that's what IUP is all about. And, what, 20-some years, 30-some years since you graduated, but there's no reason why one of you can't be here in a few years delivering an equally inspiring address. IUP has many great alumni, and Mr. Wagner is certainly one of them. Music is one of the historical strengths of IUP, so please enjoy the Heidelberg Brass Ensemble under the direction of Dr. Kevin Elston-Smith as they perform My Spirit Be Joyful by Bach. Thank you.